Today, we talk about things. Okay. Today, I'm going to do some squats. I just like doing that because it makes me feel tough. I can lift heavy weight there. So that's fun. So on today's docket, what the heck are we going to talk about? Maybe it's the way we set up a week. It might be a good way to go about this. So let's say we just had a meet Saturday. Okay. And so after that, I want to give my body some rest so I'm able to recoup and all that jazz, right? So wait a couple days, maybe even 3. So, who was it? Apex? Oh, Apex Vault. Somebody put out the 72 hours to have your nervous system recover from a big day of jumping, squatting, benching, whatever it may be. When you're asking your body to do maximal effort things, it's not realistic to ask of your body the same thing the next day, even 2 days later. You want to be able to have a little bit of a break between everything so that all of it can actually get a little rested up and then recover before or prior to that going big day. So whenever I set up my week, let's say on Monday, we then have maybe a bigger day there, or Tuesday going big. Monday, even after Saturday, 2 days later. And then we don't necessarily have the rest and recovery to where we can then perform to our best ability 2 days later. Maybe we let it go to 3. So my athletes at my high school will do things either Monday or Tuesday, depending on when the meet was. That'd be Friday or Saturday. But I want 2 is the minimal amount of days I have to have for rest. Minimal. So after Saturday, maybe we do Monday, but if some kid isn't necessarily feeling it, cool. We done for that. We just wait till tomorrow and we'll do it tomorrow. That's fine. So in the beginning of the week, or it depends, because if we have a Saturday meet, I think a Wednesday could be a day where you go big, because then you got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days later, then you're having full maximal effort going on there. Yeah. So let me even do this. I got an open whiteboard. Let's go there. Hold up. Wait a minute. Come and put some. Ooh. Shipley in it. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me see if this can actually. You get it. Oh my God. Stop it. Stop it. What's up? That's the fun part about this thing. Oh, well, now you don't follow me. Come here. Hey, come here. Let's do this. Then I'm going to go like this. Little juke out. Okay. So yeah, you can see that these are my facility records, for this facility, but I was writing down polls that I might want to get. Got to get some in-betweeners. But let's say, where do we want to start this week? Might as well go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right. So let's say Saturday was meet day. Now, if I want to have a practice where I fully am able to do everything that I want to do, in a long approach jump, then I definitely have to wait either 2 days. So we're coming here for big jumps on Monday or here for Tuesday. And here's the thing with high school jumping is a lot of people just jump big all the time and don't necessarily ever give yourself days to do small stuff. So at least in most of my practices, especially when I'm at the high school and everything, a lot of those days are working on the small things, and a lot of people aren't used to that. So especially when kids come into here, spend about the first half working on small things, small steps, not necessarily working on this whole jump, but just little things that you have wrong in your approach, the way you plant, whatever it might be. We work on a lot of small things. It's not a lot of big jumps. I don't even like my athletes at the high school jumping that big. And I got at least stats to back that philosophy on up. So now, Monday or Tuesday, these will be, we'll put B for big. All right. So then any of the preceding days, you can do all the small stuff you want. But even if I got to meet on Saturday, I'm probably going to nix pole vaulting for Friday. I don't want to have myself be sore. It is not a thing to... The avenue of thought I'm going down is that I don't want to mess up the next day. So I will go through a warm-up. I'll have like warm-up. Maybe you do long or triple jump step, a couple long approaches just to literally one or two just to make sure, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Accessory stuff, accessory events, steps. We're doing maybe that on Friday, maybe even Thursday. Might even be a better way to do it. But I don't want to affect that next day with soreness or central nervous system fatigue, or whatever it may be. I don't want to be messing up this whole train of practices with just my arrogance being, I gotta jump big, gotta jump big. That's the only thing. I need to jump big. If I don't jump big, then I'm not gonna jump big. Sure, but you need to look at the way you're setting up your week. So Thursday, Friday, and you know what? Preferably, I'd want the accessory steps and everything done Thursday. And minimal. I don't want a lot. It's crazy. I actually had an athlete, TJ, last year. He said, man, Frederick High School would be laughing at us if they saw the way we practice. Yes, maybe. But it's thoughtful practicing. So, sure, I'm going to have the big jumps Monday, let's say. Then my Tuesday is going to be working in maybe either plyos, so speed of contraction, tendon stiffness, all that. But then let it be a speed type day or even force production with lifting. So it isn't necessarily always about, or even sprint endurance, working on lactic threshold stuff. It isn't necessarily always about killing the athlete with a workout just to kill them, but it's thoughtful training. So let me do this. So let's say big jumps Monday. Now we're taking back to the beginning of the week. We got Monday on that. Then Tuesdays, I'm going to plyos, lifting, and mobility. Because I do want to continue my flexibility training. I don't want to stop that. I want to make sure that I'm able to move deep into range of motions and not just be shallow with everything. To be inflexible, one, sets you up for injury because your body is not used to moving in certain ranges of motion. But then if you can have strength with inflexibility, then it keeps you all the more safe because then your muscles are even more adept to dealing with a certain range of motion with stress being given to you at that time. So maybe it's RDLs where I do a full clip, bend over there, whatever. But then we go Wednesday. This could be small jumps. And if you're wanting something more, just like a little more practice, those small jumps can continue into Thursday. And then again, I'm doing, let's go here. Now, after small jumps, even on Wednesday, that's where I would probably add in lifting, being again 3 days out. Boo, 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 boo. Still being 3 days out from that Saturday meet. You know what? This needs to be able to be turned a little bit so it stops moving back and forth. I'm going to figure this whole thing out. Make it a whole lot smoother because I just see that camera going wah, 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 wah. Yeah. Stop following all the other parts of my body. Just me. I'm right here. You don't need to move. All's good. Yeah. So Wednesday, now I have small, yet with lifting. And then here, plyos, lifting, mobility. I'm working towards having a lot of stress here in the beginning of the week and then being able to recover so that by then Saturday, I'm good to go. I do not want soreness. I do not want excessive stiffness. I do not want fatigue. Let it be from the nervous system. Let it be cardiovascular system. I do not want things to not be able to produce at my highest level of being. I mean, shoot, sometimes my Thursdays, if it meets on Saturday, it'd be a game of ultimate frisbee, soccer, get a little endurance there, but we don't go and overly exert ourselves. We're doing something fun to where hopefully nobody gets injured and all that. There's always that possibility, but when people are being respectful of each other and not trying to break each other's bodies, you can actually have a good productive game to go on during Thursdays. But where's that going? Accessory here. Accessory jumps. Because at least all my pole vaulters, I get them into triple jump, long jump, high jump. And if they don't fare well, then they maybe sprint. Or if they started a sprinter, they do the sprints and then do a pole vault as well. Brunel is kind of a good example. She is a 4x2, 4x 55 meters, 55 hurdles, all that type of person. And then can also come in pole vault because she has the sprint endurance to be able to do so. Not everybody's really able to do that, but some people are able to reproduce their run up for long jump, triple jump, high jump, whatever it might be. And funny enough, some people just aren't built for high jump. And that's kind of that. But a lot of my pole vaulters are very successful in all the other jumps because they're usually body smart. But I digress. Okay. Big jumps Monday. Possibility of big jumps Tuesday, not necessarily necessary. But then I go into plyos, lifting, and mobility. Again, plyos, speed of contraction, tendon stiffness. Lifting, force of contraction, all that there. Mobility on the Wednesday. Small jumps, still we could do some lifting here. I don't necessarily want to go to a point of tearing my body down a whole bunch. So with that, that may be heavy lifts for small reps, small amount of reps. I don't want to be having so many reps to where we start to have muscular tears, but that's what happens with hypertrophy. So the reason we grow is because we're tearing down and then we grow back, tear down and grow back. So with hypertrophy, avoiding any of the muscular damage. Now there will be central nervous system fatigue when it comes to doing all that, but I'm again 72 hours out from this Saturday. Okay. And small jumps if you need to on Thursday. That's an if need to basis. And then going to accessory jumps, my triple jump, long jump, whatever. But I'm not overly exerting myself. I am not doing this to the point to where I'm tired. I literally do a couple and I can leave without even worrying about a nap afterwards because I'm so exhausted or whatever the heck it is. I do not want to be exhausting myself, especially the day before, but even 2 days before if you can. I don't want to be walking out of practice unable. Ooh, I know I'm doing this. It's funny. I'm just trying to cover up the mic, but nonetheless. I don't even know why I'm yawning. I'm pretty awake right now. Sticking away from exhausting yourself and affecting the 2 days later, that of which you'll be wanting to do a maximal effort jump. So then we got Friday warm-up type stuff. So I have my kids go through the warm-up. Maybe they do block starts for the sprinters, handoffs. Not necessarily, again, going to the point of fatigue, but yes, we work with a little bit of speed and being able to hand off there. Make sure that I have all my marks down I go to the high jump pit. I know this is where my tape is, so now we get the measurements of the length and height of all that. Shot putters, make sure the shot puts are ready to be put into the bus. Poles are packed, all those things. That's pre-meet stuff. So even on then, I do not pole vault at all. At all. Avoid it completely. We go into something else. Funny enough, it might be 2 to 3 days a week that I really pole vault. Big day, little day, big day, little day, Tuesday. And also, I want to give them a day to do triple jump, long jump, high jump. I don't necessarily want to only be in pole vaulting. When people are just sequestered to like being only this athlete, I feel like it's a waste of talent because most of those people, as they get better with it and whatnot, will just fly higher than everyone. I mean, the stiffness of the body that just comes from triple jumping and everything. When you learn to do it right, I understand some people are scared about the knees and hips, but when you do it in the right way and also are getting used to your body weight, I've had people who are just big and then their body hurts, and then after a while, their body becomes adept to it, but it's doing a lot of bounds, it's doing a lot of plyos, single leg plyos, not double leg plyos, because double leg is not going to be your whole body weight on one leg and all that jazz. You got to be thinking about how this all applies to whatever that you are doing. But, yeah, maybe in here on Tuesday. And then the plyos lifting and whatever can be all part of like lifting session. But and triple long and triple long. I mean, long jump's easy. Plant the foot, get up. It's like the plant and pole vault, but triple jump's more difficult where you have to pull the ground past yourself. You are getting up there, but I'm really trying to reach myself forward off that first phase. So that's why I like to maybe focus a little more on triple. Long's just, like I said, very easy to figure out and do in a meet without any coaching, whatnot. Triple jump landing is going to be the same landing as a long jump. The run up will be the same exact thing. In most ways, the attack of the foot will be different, but the way that I build up my speed into it, all the same. And then high jump. Man, that's crazy. What am I yawning for? Do I need oxygen? Maybe that's it. I need to breathe. Breathe a little bit more. Nonetheless. So, just to confuse you all to the maximum. Let me see. You following me? Big jumps. Monday. Sunday. Nothing. Rest day. Not just because the Bible said so. Good coach said so. That is egregious. Not egregious. That is, I need to, I'm trying to be humble here. All right. So, Mondays, big jumps. Tuesdays, everything else. Let it be plyos. If I'm doing triple jump, that's my plyos. Lifting. I'm getting force production. Mobility. mobility. Wednesday, small jumps plus lifting, because I like to have lifting in there. I like to create a stiff body, and then a stiff body is able to translate force into the pole significantly better. And then Thursday, small jumps again, accessory jumps if need be. And then we got Friday, letting it be the little warm up. And then we're going on to the rest of the activities. Let it be handoffs, block starts, whatever else you need to assure that you are going to perform well on Saturday. Cool. Friday is just a prep day. It is not a doing and working out day. So I've even had coaches come to me and they're like, how does nobody have shin splints? Don't kill them every day. Like, I don't know what it is with like track and just thinking you need to kill your athletes all the time. And, let me show them this workout. This is going to make them puke and whatever. I'm not here to make you puke. I'm here to make you better. And it's always a little foolish, I feel, to make kids go on and do that. And you're really just tearing them on down. And even into the beginning of the season, I have them start off with 4 laps as a warm-up. And as the season goes, then we go, maybe almost half a month, 2 weeks later, then we go to 3 laps, another half month, then we go to 2 laps, and we keep it 2 laps up until it probably will stay there. I like it when it stays there. There were times last year where people were doing a lap, and then they'd freaking skip out on it. And I don't respect that. You are literally not doing anything. And when you get hurt, that is not my fault. I told you to be a certain way, and now you're going against that. That's the whole thing. But nonetheless, that was just another coach's idea to do. We discussed that, and things changed there because 1 lap is not sufficient enough. Even if you're going and doing hurdle mobility afterwards as a secondary thing, you need more time of a warm-up. It isn't just about, I'm warm now. No, you need to literally get your muscle bellies warm. There needs to be an increase in blood flow. There needs to be an increase in neurostimulation. We need to get things moving. Now, on the day before, pre-meet day, I might even shorten it down again there. But nonetheless, if we're going to work out, we need a real warm-up. And when it comes to getting used to the volume of running that we're going to have to do when we come into track season, that's where I have a introduction of a lot of volume of light jogging in a warm-up. My warm-up laps, I just finish. It isn't about speed in it. Back when we had to run our 4 laps in 10, or 5 laps in 10 minutes. Back in my high school days. If I got to sound like the old man who's just chirping along his whole thing, back in my day. But nonetheless, we were at least given a time to beat. I think that's a little crazy. And 5 laps, also a little nuts. But we were an awesome team for a reason. So 4 laps, 3 laps half a month, or maybe 3 weeks in. And then 3 laps goes down to 2 laps, maybe another 2 to 3 weeks into the season, or after that previous 2 to 3 weeks. And then we get on into it. I do not have shin splints on my team. We also do up against walls. We're doing toe raises. Funny enough, I have this tib bar here, and this is something you can put on your feet, and then it's just raising the toes up. Another way to kind of prevent shin splints would be ABCs. I don't even like saying shin splints because they're imaginary to me. It's about increasing the load that your tibialis anterior is able to go under, and then we're able to produce. But if you're not doing running all year long, now all of a sudden you have to pick that foot up in a sprint, or maybe you run on your heels, and every time, let me see if I can have this in, every time I hit my heel, I'm having to decelerate that foot as it comes to slap down there. And so tibialis anterior has a lot of work that it has to cover. And if it is not used to any type of load, cool. Time to run slowly and for a while. Also, not the worst thing for the heart. Funny enough, 110 beats per minute to 150 beats per minute is actually a place where you can get a thing called eccentric hypertrophy. So if you know what RDLs are where I lower myself from top to bottom. I lower down with the weight and stretch out the hamstrings and possibly have a little bit of ripping and tearing in my muscles, which again creates growth and whatnot. It is not a bad thing whenever I say ripping and tearing and damaging. It's when we go to the excess that, it's a problem. But you also have like eccentric pull-ups. So when you pull yourself up and let yourself drop slowly. Now, negatives is often what people call them. So with those, you actually get good bit of damage there. But where was I going with that? Eccentric hypertrophy of the heart. So with the 110 to 150 beats per minute, if you're doing that for, let's say, 30, 45 minutes, there is one at 110 beats per minute and 150, you allow for the heart to engorge itself with the most amount of blood that it can. When we go up a higher than, it doesn't give the time between beats for the heart to really fill up. And so you end up having these quick push without the preceding stretch of the ventricle walls. And without that stretch, the muscle walls get bigger, yet the volume and space in the ventricles actually gets smaller without the stretching of the walls. So, say this is your heart, and it gets doubled up on one side and doubled up on the other side. Now, this space closes up as your heart gets stronger, but it's actually not too good in the sense of you lose ventricle area or volume. So when it comes to 110 to 150, we actually have a stretching out of the heart, and it allows for, one, the growth. Just like with my RDLs, I can do an eccentric exercise that stretches out my muscles, yet works them in the same way that they'll be worked later on to where I have damage and then they get stronger and blah, 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 blah. You know the deal there. Stretching of the heart, eccentric hypertrophy and all that. So having this big, long-winded warm-up in the beginning is actually very good for the heart there as well. That's why I'm very much into having adequate warm-ups, adequate load increases, or at least having a load and intensity shift. So load is high, yet intensity is low in the beginning of the season. And as we go further through it, all of a sudden it switches where the load becomes a lot lower, yet the intensity is significantly high. So there is an inverse relationship with those as we go throughout the season. And that is how at least you want to be if you want to reduce the amount of shin splints and all that jazz. Because a lot of people who get into the track world are not necessarily like these world-class sprinters and whatever, but if I want to make sure that every single one of my athletes is able to run every dang day, I need to make sure that I'm not killing them, but much rather allowing for them to continually put effort into everything without injuries and without overdoing it. It's actually pretty crazy when we do kind of look at what my team does when it comes to training and all that. But it's not like we're doing anything special. You have short sprints, full out sprints for 20 seconds. And so I'm teaching my body to work in this like just blasting off type speed. But then I let it be 150s or whatever. And we only, those 20-second runs, it might only be 5 of them. And then we go to mobility, and then we go inside the lift and all that. And then let it be like 150s, where we call them ins and outs. So you learn to switch to that second gear. So in the beginning of my run, like I said, kind of before in the last one, we get the big pushes out. But then all that I have past my full stride length is the ability to increase the turnover speed. And so you go through things like that. But I don't know, just some people just kill their athletes. It's kind of like, are you just doing a survival of the fittest here? I don't care if you're the worst athlete out there. I've always been a person to allow everybody to stay on the team. We don't really do cuts. We more or less have like a hell week where we scare them away. We see who's tough mentally. It's more of like endurance stuff, funny enough. And then we see who can kind of survive that. And then we go into the realistic type training then the following week, and everything continues from there. But like, I don't know why some teams just have so many hurt people when it's pretty easy to kind of think about the volume and load that you're putting these kids under and why they're injured and whatnot. And you can do the math of it. You can literally map out how much time they're on their feet and how much time they're at this intense of a run. So now later in the season, I lower the time, yet I up the intensity. And is it whatever? I don't know. But there are ways to also increase intensity with doing the same time or even longer time. So like with those 20-second runs later in the season, we might do 21 and then 22-second sprints where you have to hold your full clip sprint for 20, 21, 22 seconds and whatnot there. But again, I'm not going to be doing that. That's like early in the week. I'm not going to do that later on because remember, 72 hours for that CNS system to really recoup and then go about it again. So it's about mapping it out. But then, like, there's no other way to say it. It's just not killing your athlete's legs. And I never understand how other people don't really get that. But there are other coaches around us who they're in the same boat as me. I don't know why nobody has shin splints. Nobody has shin splints. Because we don't necessarily like destroy them every single day of the week. Much rather try and progressively increase intensity, repetitions, whatever it may be, to where, and that might be even the thing. It's like those 20-second runs, maybe we do 4 for a couple weeks, and then by the 3rd or 4th week, then I'm doing 5. You increase the intensity there, therefore your body is then going into the next week waiting for another increased intensity, whatnot. What else here? So I had some things written down in here. Big days before competition, long runs at the beginning of the week, lifting for general stiffness, doing more up top, and then move the whole system. If you stop short, then everything falls short. We can kind of go into all this junk. So let me delete these. Boop. So I get a few kids who start in junior year or senior year. We actually usually have a good time with those athletes because that person is usually a more competent athlete, mature and body mature, mentally mature, all the things. But some are like, oh my God, I only have 2 years to do this. Who said you can't go to D3 school near Philly, and they pay Philly Jumps Club to work with you, and you work in their training sessions, and da 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 da. And I don't know. It's like some people think that high school is the end all be all. If you don't start now, then you can't get anywhere with it later on. Or heck, Jen Sure, she didn't start pole vaulting until college. There wasn't high school women's pole vaulting, and then all of a sudden she gets into this, and now she's an Olympic athlete, a national record holder, a indoor world record holder, maybe. As outdoors, Elena Simbayeva. But nonetheless, and then uno más. Ooh. I'm just doing threes. I'm not doing anything crazy. But some people think that they can't really get this all going or even start in college. I've had plenty of decathletes who are just hulking men who then try it and then they're like, oh my gosh, this is actually a lot easier than I thought. But I feel like when it comes to the high school world, especially being a good athlete, there comes this like ego battle with it where you do have to go back down to being a white belt. With this activity, it's not like you just pick it on up and now we're at blue belt and now I'm at red belt and now I'm a black belt in like 3 months. Now, there's a lot of learning that goes on here, but once you get the hang of it, then things get to be fun. I'd say that the blue belt comes pretty quick with a little bit more mature person rather than like a little middle schooler or whatnot. They may get some of the flow down, but often the muscularity and mental strength or maturity is not there yet to understand and comprehend and or pay attention in things. Usually it's just something like to do for fun. So when it comes to my college decathletes, even Harrison himself seems to be a little bit more successful, and then they just blow right up. And I had a friend in college who, I hated it. He was on a 16-foot pole, and he like sat over 15 feet. Obviously, if he was really getting upside down and doing all that, it'd be even more awesome. But he had quickly figured out 3/4 of the jump, just not necessarily the drop under piece, but a beautiful extension off the ground. Because he was such an athlete, he's very powerful with the arms, just exploding off the legs, being this stiff force because he now has all this muscularity to back him up rather than being a smaller high schooler kid. But just because you missed out on something in high school, who's to say that you can't try it out in college and be good at it? If you're an athlete, that's all that matters. And realistically, you have, the professionals, they're just peaking into 30s and whatever. You have plenty of years to figure things out. You're only 18. You're only 19. It's not that old. It's not old at all, really. When you're 29, I'm not really old in much anyway. It's just my kids see me as older, and then older turns into old as dirt. And I'm like, guys, it's better. I can still smoke some of y'all in a run. Don't talk smack unless you want to get it. All right? But, and I also try and keep myself maintenanced so that I don't have kids walk all over me. You got to know who's boss. You know. And so that's kind of word to all the pole vault coaches out there, is not to let yourself go and just be the lazy old schlub sitting in your chair. Oh, yeah. Nope, step wasn't on. You didn't swing up high enough. I don't know why I gave him a southern accent. I'm sorry for my southerners. But you got that one. So, the end all, like, I just never understand that. Whereas if I don't do it now, I can never do it. I can never, go somewhere that will allow you to pole vault and have fun with it. Figure more of it out, and you can do more. High school is not the end of everything. You have so much more of a life coming going in front of you. You young bucks are just, it's, yeah. Yeah, and they think that high school is the only place where you can start something new. So I had an athlete last year who's getting really heady, and I knew they started going to multiple places. And this isn't a thing where I say, like, oh, you need to come to me only. Hell, I told the kid, go to, I think it was Philly Jumps, so you have one person I believe is intelligent, knowledgeable, and whatever, or one group of coaches with all the same scope of ideas. But like, if you have, let me go to this club, let me go to this club, and let me go to this club, and let me go to this club, you now have, at least with me, it's only me. Other clubs, there may be other people who help and coach there. Now all of a sudden you got 12 voices in your head and you don't know who to listen to. You don't know who to trust. They're all telling you different things and all these millions of things are wrong. And now you're just so overwhelmed with all these ideas and you get paralyzed. I feel like that's what happened to that kid last year. And one or two, three, maybe three is a good idea of the amount of coaches to have like helping you. But